presidential campaign, Donald Trump's aggressive anti-illegal immigration rhetoric caused a lot of anxiety among Latinos.
His victory on Tuesday night set off, we could call it a bomb of fear. A lot of people got uncomfortable and nervous about what this meant.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
What about people that work hard, have been here a long time, they own homes, they have their property? And this is a question everyone's going to want to answer. What about them? Do they have to go back, or would you reconsider
We are going to follow the laws of the country.
Now, that very first statement you heard was the very first thing Donald Trump ever said when he announced for his presidency.
Doesn't that seem so long ago?
Oh, absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Trump promised mass deportations and a big wall along the Mexican border. Those words causing a lot of people to worry now that he's been elected. Will he make good on those promises?
Okay, and of course, last night on 60 Minutes, he got more specific, only those with criminal records, etc. So, what do you have to worry about? What do immigrants need to know? We have immigration attorney Jessica Dominguez here with advice about that. And, you know, we tend to throw together immigrant, undocumented worker, illegal immigrant. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about families that have resided in the country for many years, who came here to seek a better future for their children, and their children are U.S. citizens. It would be a shame for someone to just come out and say, I am going to deport you, when they're not even familiar with the fact that these families have already created a life here and that they have rights. That's the main thing here. Immigrants need to know that they have rights, whether they're undocumented or not.
Do most immigrants know they have rights, or do they hide behind fear and they're unaware of this?
Excellent question. Unfortunately, they have a lot of fear. That's proven by the fact that we get thousands of social media messages by parents and by dreamers who are very concerned, who are afraid of being deported and hence being separated from their children.
Let's talk about dreamers. DACA, the deferred for kids who came here in childhood. There are about 750,000. A third of them are right here in California. What is the reality for them? If you're advising them legally, what do you say to them?
Well, see, first and foremost, what we heard during the campaign, as you know, many politicians just say, this is what I'm going to do. But once they learn about the reality of 800,000 students already having a work permit for almost 6 years, going to school, pursuing not only a higher education, but also owning businesses, owning houses, our hope is that they will realize, politicians will realize in the Senate and in the House of Representatives that it is time to do something for these dreamers. Also, these dreamers are not, how can I say this, they're not quiet students. They are the type of leaders that we are going to need in the Latino community to continue to seek an immigration reform that's not only going to protect these children, but parents of children who were born in the United States. So my advice to them is, don't be fearful because you have rights. If the worst thing were to happen, they still have rights that they could protect.
Isn't it easier if you live in California and you're a dreamer than if you live in other states?
Unfortunately not, because in every state we have people that have followed a path of hate, who have generalized that all immigrants are here committing crimes or that they should all get deported. So I wouldn't say that because we're in California that they would have an easier time. Every state out there who has dreamers is going to have a difficult time pursuing a path of seeking the rights to be protected.
So you're in the community. What is the reality of something like this coming to fruition? For example, there's been twice in the history of America where there have been mass deportations during the time of the Great Depression and in the 50s. The reality of something like this happening now, what's your thoughts on that?
And President Obama deported about 2 million during the first 4 years of his presidency.
I am so glad that he added that, because we cannot lose the fight that we cannot lose sight of the fact that the law is the law. Deportations take place every day. What we're talking about and what you just mentioned is that before we didn't have what we have now. We have social media, we have children, we have young adults with a cell phone who are going to be able to record if somebody is breaking the law. For example, an officer cannot go in and kick your door and enter into your home. If they don't have a warrant for your arrest, you can tell them, I'm not opening my door. The reality is that if that were to happen, now there's social media all over the place, hundreds of community-based organizations that are advising these immigrants about their rights. For example, if you were to get detained, don't sign your volunteer departure. Ask to see an immigration judge so that you can defend your deportation case. A lot has changed since then. So my hope as an advocate would be that families don't just give up and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and sign and abandon their rights.
Some of this has to do with the politics of it. Donald Trump, we don't know how he's really going to be. Is he going to moderate more? You know, when you run for office, you say bigger things, and then when you govern, it's different than that. But his core to the right, they want 11 million deportations. They'll settle for 3 million probably. He gets a little bit caught in his own rhetoric, doesn't he?
All politicians do. All politicians do. But we are hoping that we can give these politicians the benefit of the doubt. Before, when you're really not an insider, when all you hear is just let's deport them, then maybe you can follow that rhetoric. But when you're familiar with the contributions that the families are making to the economy of the United States, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to these politicians who are now going to have to be dealing with this issue.
All right, come back again.
Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Nice to meet you.